Chapter 56, The Night He Finally Rested. If you enjoyed this chapter of the Broken Realm, then you've only seen the beginning of Alex Morgan's journey. The story is getting darker, the enemies are getting stronger, and the truths hidden inside Moongrn are finally starting to awaken. So don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and comment your favorite moment from Chapter 56, The Night He Finally Rested. Your support keeps this world alive. See you in the next chapter of The Broken Realm. Alex finally took his last breath. There, inside the shattered arena, resting silently in the lap of White Whale. The battle was over, but no one moved. No one dared to speak. Even the wind itself felt frozen. White Whale held him tightly against her chest. Her trembling hands refused to let go. Her eyes stayed locked on his face, as if looking away for even a single moment would make him disappear forever. Beside them, Lady Lysara knelt near Alex's lifeless body. For the first time, the proud ruler of Greyfard looked completely broken. Her fingers wrapped around Alex's cold hand as her voice trembled softly. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Again and again, like she was desperately trying to undo a fate that had already been sealed. Around the arena, chaos had already begun. Lunareth was rampaging out of control. Water exploded through the broken walls. Snowstorms swallowed the battlefield whole. The ground cracked beneath her fury. Buildings collapsed. People screamed. Guards tried to flee. Some tried to fight back. None of it mattered. Lunareth destroyed everything in her path, not as a monster, but as something far more terrifying, a being consumed by grief. Tears fell from her glowing eyes as she screamed into the collapsing sky. You promised you would stay forever. Then, everything stopped. A voice appeared, heavy, ancient, filled with authority so overwhelming that even the raging storm fell silent. This world dares to take my son from me. The moment those words echoed across the heavens, Lunareth froze, completely. For the first time since the destruction began, fear appeared in her eyes. Then the voice spoke again, cold enough to silence the world itself. I will not allow a world to exist where my son lies dead. And then, something descended from the sky, a single spear, small, silent, almost insignificant. But the instant it touched the ground, the world broke. The sky shattered like glass. The earth split apart beneath the arena. Mountains collapsed into darkness. The oceans trembled violently. Entire cities vanished in seconds. Everything beautiful, everything living, everything that once felt whole, was reduced to ruin. And in that moment, the world finally became the broken realm. And then, the impossible happened. Alex opened his eyes. A violent breath escaped his lungs as his body suddenly jerked forward. For a moment, he could not breathe properly. His chest burned violently. Cold sweat covered his skin. His heartbeat felt unstable, almost painful. Then, a tear slowly fell from his crimson eyes. Alex immediately clutched his chest tightly. His fingers trembled. His entire body felt wrong, like reality itself had rejected him and then forced him back again. Around him, voices echoed through the arena. Vex, are you guilty or innocent? Alex froze completely. His eyes slowly lifted. The arena, the guards, the crowd, Lysara standing before everyone, the evidence being brought forward. Everything was happening again. No, Alex whispered weakly. His breathing became heavier, faster, unstable. Then, from deep inside his soul, Lunareth's voice echoed violently. Alex, what is happening? Your magicules are in complete turmoil. Your veins are unstable. Your soul feels distorted. Speak to me. Alex grabbed his head painfully as fragments of memories crashed into him all at once. His death, White Whale crying, Lysara apologizing beside his lifeless body, Lunareth destroying the world in grief, the ancient woman's voice, the spear descending from the heavens, the sky breaking apart, the end of the world itself. Lunareth. Alex finally spoke, his voice trembling uncontrollably. I saw it. I died here. I saw you destroying everything. I heard a woman call me her son. And then the world broke. Silence followed. Heavy, uneasy. Even Lunareth did not answer immediately. For the first time, she sounded shaken. I see. A cold feeling crawled through Alex's body. Then Lunareth spoke again, slowly, carefully, like even she feared the meaning behind her own words. So this is the change you spoke about. Alex's eyes narrowed slightly. His breathing slowed, but the fear inside him only grew stronger. Then Lunareth finally revealed the truth. This place is where you died for the first time in this world. The moment those words reached him, everything inside Alex froze. Not his first death. His first death in this world. And suddenly, the fear inside him became something far worse. Because if this was not the first time, then how many times had he already died? And what exactly was he becoming? Alex remained silent for several seconds. His mind was still struggling to process everything Lunareth had just revealed. This was not his first death, which meant everything he had seen had already happened once before. A cold fear slowly settled inside him. But this time, Alex forced himself to stay calm. Because unlike before, he remembered. Then, something suddenly pulled him back to reality. Alex! A pair of hands grabbed his shoulders forcefully. He looked up. White Whale was standing directly in front of him, her expression filled with confusion and concern. You're hurt. What happened to you? Alex stared at her silently for a moment, because now he finally understood something. She had tried to save him. Even in the future he saw, she had tried to reach him before he died. For a brief moment, Alex hesitated. Then he finally spoke. I need your help. White Whale blinked in surprise. For the first time since meeting him, Alex was asking her for something. What happened? Let me know, how can I help? Alex lowered his gaze slightly. There were too many things he could not explain. Too many things even he did not understand yet. I'll tell you what I can. His voice remained calm, but deep inside, fear was still tearing through him. Soon, Lysara will declare the trial of death. I will step into the arena, and I know I will defeat Vex. White Whale listened silently, but her confusion only deepened. Then what's the problem? Alex's eyes darkened slightly. After I defeat him, Vex will hold on to me. The memory flashed through his mind again. The hidden blade, the poison, his death. At that moment, I need you to attack. White Whale's expression changed immediately. You want me to interfere in the trial of death? Yes. If you hesitate, ED. Silence fell between them. The weight behind Alex's words felt far too real to ignore. White Whale stared directly into his eyes, searching for doubt, searching for hesitation. But she found neither. How do you know all of this? For the first time, Alex looked away. I'll explain everything later. If we survive, I'll tell you the truth. White Whale remained silent for several moments. Then, slowly, she nodded. I understand. Without another question, she accepted his request. And soon, everything began happening exactly as Alex remembered. Lysara declared the trial of death. Alex stepped into the arena. The battle began. And just like before, Alex defeated Vex. But then, the moment arrived. Vex grabbed Alex tightly as he collapsed, exactly like before. And this time, White Whale moved. A violent wave of water magic exploded between them. The impact tore Alex and Vex apart instantly. The arena itself cracked beneath the force. Alex was thrown backward violently. Pain shot through his body, but he was alive. For the first time, fate had changed. And moments later, Vex finally took his last breath. White Whale quietly helped Alex back on his feet. The moment he managed to stand again, Alex realized something strange. The arena no longer felt like the place of a victor. No one was celebrating. No one was cheering. Instead, every eye inside the arena was focused on White Whale. Some were shocked. Some were furious. Some even looked afraid. But White Whale ignored all of them. Her attention remained completely fixed on Alex. Because unlike everyone else, she knew the truth. She had unleashed nearly all of her power to separate Alex and Vex. And even though Alex was still standing, she could tell he was badly hurt. He was simply refusing to show it. Then, the silence finally broke. Lady Lysara's cold voice echoed across the arena. White Whale, what is the meaning of this? Did you truly take the trial of death as some kind of game? Why did you interfere? And if you fail to explain yourself, I will not hesitate to punish you properly for your actions. The atmosphere inside the arena instantly became suffocating. But White Whale said nothing. She simply maintained eye contact with Lysara. Neither woman looked away. The tension between them continued, rising silently. Then, before the situation could escalate further, Alex suddenly stepped forward. He gently pulled White Whale behind him, shielding her from Lysara's direct gaze. Then Alex bowed his head respectfully. I beg your pardon, Lady Lysara. White Whale only acted to protect me. Without waiting another second, Alex slowly walked toward Vex's corpse. The entire arena watched him silently. Then, Alex crouched near the body and pulled a hidden dagger from inside Vex's boot. The moment the blade appeared, whispers exploded through the crowd like wildfire. Alex raised the dagger high enough for everyone to see. Then he spoke loudly. The prisoner who was supposedly under investigation was still carrying a hidden weapon. His eyes slowly swept across the guards. So tell me, was he truly searched properly? Silence. Heavy. Dangerous. Then suddenly, one guard panicked and ran toward the arena exit. The moment Lysara saw the terrified guard fleeing, her expression instantly turned cold. Kill him. Her command carried neither hesitation nor mercy. Before the guard could even reach the gate, a spear pierced straight through his back. Instant death. The body collapsed violently across the stone floor. Then, the old captain guard stepped forward. He immediately bowed 90 degrees toward Lysara. It was my mistake. I allowed an inexperienced guard to inspect the prisoner. I accept responsibility. Lysara remained silent for several moments. Her frost-covered expression revealed how furious she truly was. But eventually, her attention returned toward Alex. I see. There was clearly negligence among my guards. I will personally deal with the matter. Then her eyes narrowed slightly. But that still does not explain something. How did White Whale know? And why did she attack at that exact moment? Alex answered immediately, without even a second of hesitation. Before entering the arena, I noticed something strange while Vex was walking. He was avoiding pressure on one foot. It was subtle, but unnatural. Alex slowly raised the hidden dagger, so I assumed he was hiding something inside his boot. I asked White Whale to watch him carefully during the fight. Alex's expression darkened slightly. I defeated him, but in the end, he chose to take me down with him. That is why she interfered. Then, Alex lowered himself into a respectful 90-degree bow. She acted only to protect me. So, if punishment is necessary, then I will accept the blame instead. The arena became silent once again. Lysara watched Alex quietly. Her expression revealed nothing, but the pressure surrounding her only became colder and sharper. Finally, she stood from her throne. I will allow this matter to pass. This time, her voice carried clear irritation, because mistakes were indeed made by my guards. Then she turned away from the arena. But before leaving, she spoke loudly enough for everyone to hear. The trial of death is over. Vex has been declared guilty, and the next matches have already been decided. The nobles are currently placing bets on their chosen fighters. Her eyes swept across the arena one final time. I expect today's events to remain inside these walls. No information leaves this arena. Now leave and prepare yourselves. The battles are only beginning. With those final words, Lysara walked away, slowly, coldly. The moment she disappeared, the entire arena erupted into whispers. About Vex, about the hidden dagger, about White Whale interfering, and most importantly, about Alex. Meanwhile, Alex slowly walked away with his group. One of his arms rested over White Whale's shoulder for support, while the other rested casually against the twin-headed dragons walking beside him. White Whale remained close to him silently, still watching him carefully, still worried. Then, from the distant hallway, Lysara suddenly stopped walking. She glanced back one final time and saw how naturally close Alex and White Whale had become. A faint scowl appeared on her face. Then she muttered quietly beneath her breath, "You too are an eyesore." And without another word, Lady Lysara disappeared deeper into the palace halls. Lysara had barely taken a few steps into her private chamber when a familiar voice echoed softly behind her. A woman dressed entirely in white appeared silently from the shadows. The mysterious woman let out a faint, amused laugh. "My lady, that expression on your face is truly unpleasant." Lysara did not respond, but the coldness in her eyes deepened further. The woman in white smiled knowingly before continuing. "You are becoming far too attached to him. You should maintain your distance. You cannot control his decisions, or the people he chooses to remain beside." For several moments, Lysara remained silent. Then finally, she spoke quietly. "I know, but..." Her gaze darkened slightly. "I cannot forget the look in that girl's eyes." It felt as though she believed she had one. The mysterious woman laughed softly. "You are reading too deeply into things, because you're thinking about him too much. You should calm yourself." And just as suddenly as she had appeared, she vanished. Far away from the palace, Alex and the others slowly made their way back toward the resting camp. Alex's injuries were still severe. White Whale supported one side of him, while Two-Head Dragon carried the other. The atmosphere around the group had finally begun to relax slightly after everything that had happened. Ahead of them, Kira was already back to her usual self, talking loudly, laughing, commenting dramatically about the chaos from earlier. Then suddenly, she turned around and began walking backward while grinning mischievously. "Come on now, White Wolf and White Whale. There's definitely something going on between you two, right? You stay close together and act more secretive than married couples." Several members of the group burst into laughter instantly, but two people did not laugh at all: Nightmare and Silva. Kira completely ignored them. Instead, she looked directly toward Alex again. "White Wolf, please entertain my curiosity." Alex released a tired sigh. Kira's grin widened immediately. "Then answer honestly. If one day you absolutely had to choose one of us girls, who would you choose?" The entire group suddenly became quiet. Every eye turned toward Alex. Even White Whale looked at him silently now. The male members of the group also waited curiously for his answer. Alex said nothing at first. Then Kira pushed again. "You have to answer. Come on, who would you choose?" Alex took a slow breath. Then finally, he answered calmly, "White Whale." Silence. Complete silence. Even Kira looked surprised for a moment. Alex continued walking slowly as he spoke. "Because she is mature and calm under pressure." For a brief moment, White Whale's eyes widened slightly. Then, a tiny smile appeared at the corner of her lips, small enough that almost nobody noticed it. Almost. Alex quietly pressed slightly against Two-Head Dragon and White Whale, a silent signal to continue walking. Soon, the group finally arrived near the resting tents. Two-Head Dragon suddenly stopped near Alex's tent entrance. He slowly shifted Alex's weight completely toward White Whale before speaking casually. "I know very well when I should stop interfering. You two probably have things to discuss, so I won't pry." A small smirk appeared on his face. "Take care of him." Then, without waiting for a response, he walked away. One by one, the others also returned toward their own tents, leaving only Alex and White Whale behind. White Whale carefully guided Alex inside the tent. As she helped lower him onto the bed, both of them suddenly lost balance. White Whale fell forward, landing directly on top of Alex. For several quiet seconds, neither of them moved. Alex did not push her away, and White Whale did not immediately pull back either. The silence between them felt strangely calm. Then, very softly, almost like a whisper. Alex spoke. "Thank you for trusting me, Elira." For the first time that night, White Whale's expression softened completely. "You're welcome." She slowly moved away from him and quietly sat beside the bed. Several minutes passed in silence. A peaceful silence. Then Alex finally spoke again. "You probably have many questions. I'll tell you the things that I understand myself. But please give me some time to think first." He slowly turned onto his side, his back now facing Elira while taking half the bed space. After a moment, Elira quietly asked, "Should I leave or stay?" Without turning around, Alex answered calmly, "I wouldn't mind your presence." The tent became silent once more. Elira looked at him quietly for several seconds. Then, understanding what he truly meant, she slowly laid down beside him. Not too close, yet not far away either. The distance between them felt careful, comfortable, safe, and softly, almost like a promise. Elira replied, "Then I'll stay and wait." The tent remained strangely quiet for a long time. Only the soft sound of the lantern flame and Alex's uneven breathing filled the darkness between them. Then Elira heard it, a deep, tired, exhausted sigh. She felt Alex slowly turn around behind her, and after a moment, she quietly turned as well. The moment she did, her breath almost stopped. They were suddenly face to face. Too close. Close enough to feel each other's warmth. Close enough that Alex's heavy breathing gently moved a few strands of Elira's blue hair. But neither of them moved away. Both of their minds were already drowning in far greater storms. For a few silent seconds, they simply looked at one another beneath the dim lantern glow. Then Alex finally spoke, very quietly. "I'm not from this world." Elira's eyes widened slightly. Alex continued before she could speak. "Maybe." His tired eyes lowered for a moment. "I say maybe because I'm no longer sure where I truly belong anymore." His voice grew softer. "But before this world, before Moongrn, I knew another world." He looked directly into her eyes. "A world called Earth." Elira froze. For the first time since meeting him, genuine shock appeared clearly on her face. "You are a summoned one." Alex gave a faint smile. "A failed one." Elira's expression changed instantly. "That is impossible," she whispered. "Summoned ones do not appear randomly. Royals spend enormous resources to summon them. If you were truly summoned, then a kingdom should have protected you from the beginning." Alex slowly shook his head. "That never happened to me." The lantern flame flickered softly as silence filled the tent again. Then slowly, for the first time in his life inside this world, Alex began telling some of the truth. Not all of it, but enough. He spoke about waking up alone, about confusion, fear, pain. He told her about meeting Seraphine, about Naira Vale, about Salira, about Lasara. He explained how every step of his journey felt like he was being dragged deeper into something far larger than himself. Elira listened quietly without interrupting even once. Then Alex spoke about Lasara's tournament. "I think she wants me to win." Elira's eyes narrowed slightly. "She wants you to represent her in the death game," she said softly. Alex nodded slowly. "Yes." The more he explained, the more pieces finally began connecting inside Elira's mind. His confidence, his strange awareness, the way he acted during dangerous situations. The reason Lasara treated him differently. Everything slowly started making sense. Then Alex continued. "Vex was the one following us." His voice became colder. "I knew eventually he would harm someone from our group." His eyes darkened slightly. "And after what happened with Nightmare, I became sure he would push him beyond recovery one day." So Alex explained everything. How he used Lasara's spy, how he planted evidence, how he guided suspicion toward Vex, how he manipulated the situation to force an arrest. Elira listened in complete silence. Even she looked stunned, hearing how carefully Alex had planned everything. Then Alex gave a tired laugh. Today's punishment was supposed to end everything quietly. His expression hardened slightly, but the trial of death changed the entire situation. Elira finally spoke softly. "You still understood Lasara's reason?" Alex nodded. "She is a ruler, His voice remained calm. If she makes things feel false, then people stop fearing her authority. Then his eyes slowly lowered again. And then, for the first time that night, Elira saw genuine fear inside his eyes. Alex's breathing became heavier. I saw my death. The atmosphere inside the tent changed instantly. Alex stared silently into darkness for a moment before continuing. Not imagination. His voice became quieter. Not instinct. I saw every moment, every movement, every word, everything exactly as it happened. Elira felt chills run across her body. Alex looked back toward her. I knew what would happen if I ignored it. His voice became cold and firm. In knowing danger while refusing to believe it is stupidity. He looked directly into her eyes. And I'm not stupid. Silence followed again. Long silence. Then finally, Alex released a slow, exhausted breath. As if something buried deep inside him had finally escaped. He did not tell her everything. Far from it. But even this much already felt like removing chains wrapped around his heart. And before Alex could say another word, Elira suddenly moved forward and hugged him tightly. Very tightly. Alex froze completely. Elira held him against her chest without hesitation. Her voice trembled softly. I still think you are hiding many things. She tightened her embrace slightly, but her eyes closed. My heart tells me what you said tonight is true. Alex remained completely silent. Then Elira whispered something that made his entire body still. I promise I will not abandon you. Her arms wrapped around him even more firmly. No matter what happens, no matter what kind of person you become, I will stay beside you until death itself takes me. Her voice became softer, and even if you ask me to leave, I still won't. For a moment, Alex stopped breathing entirely. Then something warm suddenly touched Elira's shoulder. A tear. A hot tear from a man who had bled endlessly without ever allowing himself weakness. Elira did not look at him, did not mention it. She simply held him closer and silently offered the only warmth she could give. Deep within Alex's mind, Linareth finally spoke. Alex. Her voice sounded quieter than usual. This is the first time you have truly told someone the truth. Silence. Then, and this is also the first time you have allowed someone this close to you. Her tone became serious. Something is changing. A pause followed, and it is happening dangerously fast. But Alex no longer replied. For the first time in a very long while, his mind finally became quiet. No fear, no calculations, no pressure, only warmth, only exhaustion, only peace. And slowly, Alex fell asleep. A deep, peaceful sleep free from worry. Elira remained beside him for a long time after that. Then eventually, she carefully tried to move away, but suddenly froze. Her face instantly turned bright red. During his sleep, Alex had unconsciously grabbed her tightly in a place no woman would calmly ignore. Elira's entire body heated up instantly. Even worse, he looked completely peaceful while doing it. The realization nearly destroyed her composure. Embarrassed beyond words, she carefully freed herself before quickly leaving the tent. The moment she stepped outside, cold night air hit her burning face. And without realizing it, she hurried away far faster than normal, completely unaware that somewhere within the darkness, a single pair of eyes had quietly watched her leave Alex's tent that late at night.